My shirt just means it falls down inside. It's quite a light shirt. I hope the camera's rolling.
It is. There we go. We found our intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Backseat Cinema Club. We are at full strength once again for episode 3.
Yeah.
Hello. Have you put my seat down? Oh, you just
I haven't touched your seat.
Just not your mirror.
Me and Callum weren't trusted enough to just host us two again, so our parent has come back to monitor us.
After not watching episode 2, Tim has decided that it wasn't good enough.
Currently, the biggest challenge is not discussing film; it's finding our way to Tesco.
Yeah. I got distracted by my rearview mirror pointing at my crotch.
It's left here.
I just thought you'd appreciate that.
So yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
anyway, so back on track, staying on track.
Hopefully.
Today's what we're going to talk about today is Johnny, your little short film proof of concept that we're working on.
Yeah. We are currently we had day 1 of production yesterday. Well, we'll call it
half day 1.
Half day 1. I originally had the idea to film this back in February, where the sun sets at about fucking. I can't swear, can I?
You can swear in the podcast.
Okay. Well, the sunsets are like 10 in the morning or whatever, so you have nice long nights. So we had plenty of scenes to film. The whole thing is set at night, kind of outside, going inside basically with the two. But it does mean, because we're shooting in it's May now. Mm-hmm. The sun it's not fully dark until 9-10ish. So it means that when we're shooting in a residential area, we have to be done by 11, and we can't properly start rolling until 9. Mm-hmm. Which means that our shooting schedule is quite unique, because instead of just doing all the nights in one day, we're having to spread them across 2 dates, purely so we can have enough darkness to actually film it. But we're literally rolling for about 2 hours each a night.
Sorry, Tim, you go.
Yeah, and yesterday we got to when the sun was supposed to set, which was just before 9?
8:30 something, 8:35 I think.
And it was still light until gone 9 o'clock. So the sun actually lied to us.
Yeah.
Which is quite rude.
Yeah, it's not the politest thing it's ever done. And we're really gonna have to deal with that tonight, but I'm sure we'll make it work through the power of friendship and family.
And Kino.
Yeah, we are professionals at shooting projects that are set mostly at night in the middle of the summer when the nights are really short, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, at least we've got motivated light, and it's not make it the moonlight in the middle of a forest without a budget, which is something we've done many times.
Yes.
To be fair, on many a project.
Okay, yeah.
So
it wasn't just me.
Yes, we're quite used to it, but at least we have street lights, which are quite usable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. How has your experience, Tim, been as director of photography on this little short so far?
On the short? Yeah, I mean, yesterday wasn't too bad.
Okay, Tim, how has your positive experience been?
That is positive for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was literally we got him, boys.
Yeah, it was good. The shoot was well planned, I thought. I thought the schedule went well.
At least I'm organised in some area of my life, eh?
Yeah.
The only bit where it matters.
It's true. It is true.
We wrapped a tiny bit late, but that was the sun's fault, not anything we could control. And I thought the dailies that we got looked half decent. So
yeah, I mean, it was most of the challenge we face for filming inside is, for some reason, when homeowners are buying houses, they like to put white walls everywhere because it makes it all look nice and airy when they're actually living there. The second you have to film, it means if you want to get any form of depth in a scene where you need contrast or anything, then don't bother essentially, because it just bounces light everywhere. And we've had many an experience filming in filming dark scenes in flats or houses, for example, where it's just white walls everywhere, and it's
Yes. I think the solution that we've come across is basically to just not do soft fills in those situations and go for high contrast, strong directional lighting, backlight, basically.
Yeah, practical sources.
Yeah. That's our little get around there.
Making it look good.
In lieu of production design, but
yeah,
we don't super know how to do that.
I love production design. I really want to do more of it. I had some of the props we needed for this. There was one of them which I'm taking as a compliment. The fact it looks quite dodgy. We needed a fake explosive prop, and it has a homemade explosive.
Wait, no, it hasn't got any homemade explosive in it.
Yeah.
Disclaimer:
it has
there
to
is no
look
explosive.
like one, but there is nothing. It's literally it's a CPU box that I've wrapped up to look like it is a homemade explosive, where it is not. It is not an explosive.
But it does look very convincing.
It looks very convincing. There is nothing in it that goes boom.
Yeah, it has a blinky red light on the front, which adds so much production value to it, and it's got a little,
Flashing lights does equal production value.
honestly, I do agree with that one.
Yeah, it was a very impressive piece of work.
Thank you, man.
I believe it looks legit. Like to the point where I was being careful about how much of it I showed on social media. So
It will not be shown on this. If you want to see it, you have to watch the proof of concept.
yes, you do.
As to where you
We'd
can
now say
watch
the
it.
title by the time this is
Yeah,
coming out,
whatever,
end of
whatever.
next week.
You have to watch the proof of concept for
Okay.
Stepping into the Storm as to where you can view it.
We'll announce it. We'll announce it. Yeah.
We have a really exciting rollout planned for it, which involves Cannes Film Festival. What is that guy doing to that bush? Sorry, it involves many exciting film festivals. We're doing a whole world tour with it, but that's currently under NDA. I can't talk about that right now.
There we go. Continue.
That's all the yapping I have to say about
Cool.
it, really.
Anything else? Yeah, I mean, I've just been gaffing, which I like gaffing.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is my favourite below the line job where I am there to facilitate the creative desires of other people.
Then despawn.
And then, kind of taking a breather while the actual takes are rolling. I enjoy it a lot. I think if you're someone who directs a lot, it is important to do jobs other than directing.
Yeah.
So that when you're asking people to do things, you know what you're asking them. And for that reason, plus a bunch of others, I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's about it from me. And it's been very fun so far. And the dailies look sick. And the story is like clear and simple, so
It's all very visual,
fun.
not much dialogue. The only dialogue that's in there is really just to kind of give some context to the story of the actual full film. It's not needed for the scene as a standalone, I think, to work.
I mean, yeah, it's been good fun to work on something again with, a group of people that we all enjoy working with that is purely just for the sake of making something, making arts. I guess the stakes aren't as high, the stress levels aren't as great because of that. So yeah, it's always good fun.
Nice. Okay, so moving on to our main topic for this week. We've just got one topic this week, which is the new Fallout TV series, which we all wanted to talk about. So it was recommended to me by our good friend James West.
Shout out, James.
Too many words. And yeah, he was like, Callum, you should watch this. I was like, I've never played the games. I have no, I don't have any super interest. Have you played the games?
I haven't played the games.
Okay, so I've like no prior knowledge to it. And he was like, don't worry.
I don't think I'm probably even going to left
the
it
job.
to him.
I watched all of it. You gents have made a start on it.
I watched the first episode about 2 hours ago.
I watched the first episode last night. Which I thought was actually all right. I mean, not much has happened yet, has it, Johnny? It's kind of just
No.
setting the scene, building the characters.
I mean, I very much enjoyed the cold open to it. It's been all over Instagram as far as I've seen loads of memes of people using the shot of the nuke going off and the guy's reaction to it as a meme.
Spoiler alert: there are nukes going off in the Fallout TV
honestly.
series.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that's
I know, believe it or not. I mean, it's literally the opening of the series.
Yeah.
I found that as an opening was very good. It was a good hook. But what is it with the Nolans and
Nukes, yes.
Nukes
So
at the moment?
the key creative voice on Fallout is Jonathan Nolan, who is the brother of Christopher Nolan. So they do seem to be shooting. Insisting on shooting everything on film, and B, what they shoot is about nukes.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were related.
I think it is a continuing sign following on from the Last of Us TV series that if you approach it correctly, live action adaptations of video game franchises absolutely can work.
I mean, the thing is, video games have great stories. I think it's something it's such a new art form. Video games are even newer than cinema is as an art form. So we're really seeing kind of
significantly.
80
honestly,
years newer.
So, we're really seeing it develop of how they're telling stories with it. And it's not like there's not talent working in the gaming industry, because there really is. There's great writing talent. So it was just a matter of how do things get adapted from the controller to the screen.
Yeah, it's so the Fallout games are generally role-playing games. They're open world. There's no other than some minor characters, there aren't firm protagonist characters that are followed in all of the games. So I think that has helped, because Fallout is a very interesting world where basically, to context people who don't know about the world of Fallout, it is an alternative history where sort of 1950s suburban American aesthetic and values carried on into the 21st century, and with it carried on sort of McCarthyism and a suspicion of communism. A nuclear war breaks out in the 21st century, and these vaults are created in which people basically shelter from the fallout with the long-term hope of repopulating the Earth. And the mystery in the TV series, and to some extent in the games, is about the origins of the vaults and why they exist and what machinations were going on behind the scenes to concoct the situation that we find ourselves in the TV series.
Me and Tim haven't got quite as far as them being like, why do these exist? We've had I won't talk about spoilers, or shall we?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Yeah.
alert. Yeah, I mean, going what you're saying about it being shot on film, 'cause I was looking at it and I was like, this is...
Was it?
Yeah, because I was watching it, this is a really good film emulation. So I pulled up IMDb and had a look and went, I never mind, it was shot on the RE Cam LT. It was actually shot on film.
And then scanned and edited digitally, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then they'd have done loads of post work on it for the image as well.
That's interesting. I didn't watch it and go, this looks like it's shot on film.
As in, from a standpoint of you thought it was an emulation.
No, I didn't. I didn't think it didn't look filmic to me. Like not in the way that like bad. It just kind of looked like an anamorphic digital. It didn't look like it was a particularly heavy film grain or anything.
I mean, I find a lot of...
It wasn't a vintage look.
I mean, film grain is never, I think, as heavy as people, especially on like newer stocks, is never as heavy as people kind of... I think if you're adding like a grade in post, people put on a lot heavier grain than is, I think, even realistic.
Well, I think when we're replicating a film look on digital, we go for something slightly older, don't we? Go for like an 80s film stock.
Yeah, rather than
Like a
modern
like
film would look like.
late 90s, 2000s film stock.
Yeah, I thought he was about to say the word.
No. Yeah, in terms of like the strengths of the series, its tone, the way it balances tone is quite impressive, and you guys would have already seen this in the first episode. It's striking the balance between having a sort of nonchalant approach to violence, which mirrors the world basically, but also not holding back on showing like how horrible that world is at the same time.
It was getting shot by the arm of like a little toy baby.
Yes.
I saw that was like...
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing from the games where
I
basically
assumed so, yeah.
ammunition has run out, so they develop weapons that can just use anything as ammunition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's kind of an Iron Man thing going on with the way they show the power armor suits as well. I don't know how much of that is in the first episode. Oh no, there is the power armor.
Yeah, we saw some of them, and then there was...
That bloke got made the squire of there. So I'm assuming from I have no idea about the Fallout games.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's something dystopian to do with nuclear war. But from what I watched yesterday, it seemed pretty cool. Like there seems to be like, these lots of different, very unique characters and sub worlds that eventually I'm sure will all cross and come into conflict and resolution with each other, which of course makes great content. Great story, yeah. There seems to be some good definable, unique worlds, aesthetics, like sub-narratives, and those sorts of things. Like the knights with the metal suits seem to be very, very different in tone and feel and ideology, I guess, to the Vault people, are they like scavengers or
the
cowboys?
There's like there are fewer like defined. There are very few like defined factions. So the Brotherhood of Steel, which is the knights that you mentioned, they have like a distinct feel to them.
And are they like the army, or they're just like a group of people?
They are the only like surviving form of military force that's left. But even then, they're not.
Kind of like a nation. There's like not nations anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like the president's not going to show up.
No. And then like the Vault Dwellers, who are basically these people who are sort of stuck in the 1950s underground. And as you can imagine, Ella Purnell's character, when she ventures out onto the surface, her attitude is frequently tested.
Yeah. So I'm guessing there's a bit like almost like a coming of age subplot type idea there.
Yeah. She becomes more cynical. It would not be a spoiler to suggest that she becomes more cynical as the series goes on.
I mean, one thing I found quite interesting was the scene where she was talking with everyone else in her vault before leaving. it was kind of like everyone else in the vault didn't even want to consider the option of going out and exploring, because like it's kind of, when they're in the vault, they are someone. They're a small community. Everything in their world is in that vault. But if they venture out of it, they go from being a somebody to just like, you know, a nobody.
There's a very strong parallel there between like Plato's analogy of the cave, isn't it?
It kind of is. It's basically a very developed version of that.
Yeah. Where quite literally she comes out and sees the light of day, and then becomes sentient almost, or aware of the true meaning of existence. I'm assuming through who she meets in the real world. Outside.
We need to finish that, I think, to see it. I mean, I'm planning to finish watching it because me and Tim watched it as an assignment given by you at like 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
So it was
I gave you homework.
You did.
It was good homework.
That was very unpainful homework.
It was good homework. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean the series isn't on anyone's side, including the Vault Dwellers. But it doesn't look down on the series. Doesn't make the audience look down on anyone for being in any particular situation. It looks down on the people in authority who created the situation in the first place, I think, is the way it approaches it. You know, we've kind of already spoken a lot about the aesthetics, but I think a lot of
you can only go left from this lane.
I'm going to go down 322.
Yeah, sounds good.
The strength, a lot of the strength of the games has been brought into the TV series, which is the sort of harsh contrast of
Lambo.
Yeah, I saw that play.
That's so cool.
Really?
Say you're a twat.
In a horrible, tacky way,
You
it's a
think-
good number play for a Lambo Urus.
But
I mean, Urus is a
you
horrific
think
cars
the
anyway.
black with yellow pinstripes?
No, I didn't say I liked the
Oh,
car.
okay.
But for a Urus, that's a very good number play.
Oh, okay, fair enough. What the hell was I talking about? Yes, the aesthetic strength of the game, which is like, when you're in the vaults, it's this very idiosyncratic, nonchalant world, just clashing horribly with the very violent world of the surface. That's brought forward into the TV series, and that is the biggest strength of the game, tonally. So it's important that they translated that, and they've done a really good job translating that. The biggest challenge they must have faced was creating some characters to live in this world, because that's the one thing the game doesn't really provide.
Yeah, because it's a role-playing game.
Yeah.
I mean, some role-playing games like will like give you like the character that you're playing as. Like if you play Red Dead 2, you're given a character as Arthur Morgan, and like you follow his story. It's not like you're playing as yourself; you're playing as him. So I guess it depends.
It varies within the Fallout games, because some of them are like multiplayer RPGs, some of them are it depends is the answer. But there are no like really tight defined characters that you might get in from like Red Dead Redemption, or indeed like The Last of Us, that could be translated into a TV series in that same way. It's really the mechanics of the game and the world that they had to translate. And the other thing is, I think, and you two won't have seen this yet, but in episodes 2 and 3, some of the in-game mechanics are used in the TV series, but they're used very subtly in a way that doesn't make it feel like the characters are living in a video game. So, for example, in the game,
Press F to pay respect.
Yeah, that exactly. No, there's like a healing, as in most games, there's like a healing jab that you can give yourself. That shows up in the TV series, but it's used in a very specific situation that you don't go, oh, that's dumb. Yeah, like it actually works.
Yeah. Niche. But yeah, I'm excited to finish it. It's I mean, Jonathan Nolan seems to have a thing for like post-apocalypse kind of like, or like after like society kind of thing, because it's The Dark Knight Rises was after society falls.
Yes.
Interstellar was, you know, the environment is fucked, and then now this is the world is fucked. We've been nuked. So he seems to have a theme he enjoys. If his brother likes time, we now know what
he likes. Yeah. What happens afterwards. Jonathan Nolan was also involved with Westworld, wasn't he? As well?
Yeah, I haven't seen Westworld, so I can't.
But it's also got that sort of futuristic, a man's relationship with technology kind of thing going on.
Indeed.
The other, as the series goes on as well, it flashes back and forth. So, again, kind of semi-spoiler, but that party scene set in 2077, that isn't the last we see of that period in time.
Okay.
And as as you get later on in the series, it's pretty much 50-50 the apocalypse and 2077.
Yeah.
That 1950s reality, and there are elements of the story that reach across both those eras and reveals that you get that happen at the same time.
What's the name of the?
So it's very cleverly structured.
The actor who played the guy whose like nose was cut off.
That's Walter Goggins.
Yeah, he was in Hateful Eight. And he was great in that one.
Yeah, he is. He is the link between the two time periods, as I'm sure you've already gathered.
I mean, I saw him in the first scene and saw the knee go off, and then they cut to later, and I was like, they really didn't get him in just for that. But no, obviously not.
No, his character is basically the glue that sticks those two eras together.
Yeah.
And there are, again, another mechanic of the Fallout universe is that people, through either cryotubing themselves or by becoming ghouls, which is what he is, can live for massively extended periods of time.
So is he? One thing that came to my mind in terms of like, oh, who's this character? He's not the dad from the first scene.
Yeah,
is he?
he is.
Oh, he is.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
It's the same guy.
I kind of guessed that. That's so funny.
So they, nah, this isn't a spoiler. Basically, this is a mechanic. This again, it's something from the game that they explain very fluently in like episode 2. So it's not a massive spoiler.
Yeah.
But basically, he is a ghoul, which is someone who has been mutated by radiation, and if they don't get a specific cocktail of drugs, they just become a zombie. But if they do get hold of the drugs they need, they can just live continually, basically.
Hence the drugs on his grave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so funny that I was just like, I reckon he's the dad.
It's the same actor. You can see it when.
True.
So
what happened to his daughter?
We'll
have to find out.
Yeah,
have to find out. I mean, I'm personally quite interested to see what, because we saw him riding off as the bombs just kept dropping. So I'm curious to see what happens with it. So yeah, I will be keeping on watching it.
Nice.
We'll touch bases on the next episode.
Performances, did we all enjoy?
Yeah.
No one was weak. Yeah.
No one was weak. I enjoyed Kyle MacLachlan of sort of Twin Peaks and Dune 1984 fame showing up as the dad at the beginning, who's kidnapped. Tim, you're going to need context here.
I was distracted by the cute dog as well.
Oh, okay, fine. Basically, the guy who plays the dad who's kidnapped in the first episode, he is the original Paul Atreides in the 1984 David Lynch Dune film.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a thing to me.
Well, there we go.
One of my friends gave me because me and him were talking about the first Dune, the first of the new Dune movies when they came out, and he gave me like the DVD for the old one. He found it for like less than £1 in like a shop somewhere, and I've been meaning to watch it ever since. And
Have you never watched it?
I have never watched it. Well, I was saving it until after part 2 because I would rather not have old media spoil my brand new movies.
It does do some stuff better. It does most stuff much worse.
I've seen a bunch of clips from it, and I feel like sober is not the way to watch it.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's enough on Fallout. We'll maybe revisit it once you guys have finished it, and maybe chat about it for another 10 minutes because
sounds good.
It's a strong entry in the live action video game.
I didn't realise they just put out Clarkson's Farm 3 as well. I need to watch that.
That sort of slipped through. It's only for the first 4 episodes so far at the moment. I think. They do actually release it weekly, don't they? Like the Grand Tour. Yeah, we should maybe talk about Clarkson's Farm at some point.
I think it's a great TV series. So.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Okay, shall we do
Letterboxd?
Cool.
So,
how are we doing it? Is everyone guessing? Or is one person sitting out?
We'll do the same way we did it last time, which is that you can absolutely participate, Tim, but your score is in the lap of the gods.
Oh, okay, fine.
Callum, would you like to explain the rules of this game?
Yes, so we are now going to play the Letterboxd Reviews game, where either Johnny or myself will have gone hunting on Letterboxd for a Letterboxd review, which is that they are usually the most entertaining one-line film reviews out there.
Yeah.
It will be ambiguous about what the film is for. We will read the review and then give 2 options as to what film that review could be for, and then it is up to the other people playing the game to guess the review, guess which film the review is for. We have rolling scores from every time we play this. I have a grand total of 3. Johnny, you have a grand total of 4. And Tim, you have a grand total of 3 pi over 12.
Wait, no, it's 4, isn't it?
It is 4, which is not 3 pi over 12. But no.
I was going to say,
Tim's score is abstract.
the A-level maths was trying to sit there and go like,
What's actually happened is Tim is much better at the game than either of us are, and therefore we're refusing to give Tim's actual score.
out of pure bitterness,
Yeah.
we are pretending the producers of the show have told us he's on 0, which they have.
It is your turn to go first.
So I have a theme for mine. Since
Yeah.
we were talking about Fallout, and that was in the show notes, I figured I would make all of mine about, they are all to do with Oppenheimer in some way, shape or form. So this is going to be a review which is either from Oppenheimer or another movie.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Here we are. The first one is, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Is this from Oppenheimer or Denis Villeneuve's 2015 movie, Sicario? The review once again is, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Give me 2 seconds to get around this roundabout.
Yeah,
I'll give
of
it an
course.
answer. Okay, sorry, so Sicario or
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer?
You have seen Sicario, right, Tim?
Yes, because Roger Deakins
True.
TV'd it. So of course I've seen it.
So beautiful.
Yes.
I'm going to say this is Oppenheimer.
I am also going to say this is Oppenheimer.
Gentlemen, congratulations. It is Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
So it is a movie about building bombs or murdering people in Mexico.
Yeah,
You
I don't
choose.
feel like that's not the response I'd get from watching Sicario.
But
This
it
is
is the response you'd get from watching Oppenheimer?
Well, it's about a man and his passion, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Okay. This review is by user Vitamin C. It is a very simple review. The first shitpost in history.
What is this guy doing?
What is this guy doing?
I don't think he knows. At least he's got a helmet on, I
At
guess.
least he's got his
He
own.
was having a very fun time out there.
He's got a helmet on, leave him be.
The review is the first shitpost in history.
Yeah.
Is this a review of Airplane or Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Goated
Ooh.
film.
Monty Python, the Holy Grail, so June, basically. June without the worms.
Yeah.
What was the give me this again?
The first shitpost in history.
Okay. So it was either Airplane, and what's Airplane about? Sorry, because there's so many plane films.
You don't know what Airplane is?
It's not the snakes on a plane one.
No.
No, but
it's-
that's Snakes on Planes.
Airplane.
Okay.
What's the director called of Airplane?
This is yours to know.
Yeah, all
I
right,
have all of my stats are written down next to my films. The year, the director, it's all there.
Airplane. Written and directed by Jim Abrahams. Produced by John Davison. It's like a famous. Anyway.
When's it from? What era?
Well, I'm not telling you what year either film is from because then.
Are they similar eras?
Because yes, they are similar eras, but
Okay.
I'm not telling you exactly because given that the review is the first shitpost.
But,
okay.
but you
But
can't
if
tell.
it-
Yeah,
if
but
it's
you
from
can't
the
tell
same
because
era,
it's only going to be
so
about one.
for
not the
people,
other.
but you need to give context for people who don't know
They are-
Monty Python and the Holy Grail as well, because a lot of
Okay.
people haven't seen that film.
Okay, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a film from somewhere between 1975 and 1985
I'm about to get doxed.
about
I'll go around a bit more.
about King Arthur and his knights at the Round Table who dance whenever they're able, going on the quest for the Holy Grail and encountering various weird and wacky creatures like the French along their way. And
Peasants.
Average Ridley's got opinion.
Airplane is an absurdist comedy. Lines like "Surely you're not serious, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley," things like that. Basically, it's
I'm
a
gonna
film of dad jokes.
I'm going to go with Aeroplane because that film is a genuine shitpost.
I will counter Johnny and go with Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Are you going with Monty Python because it's the opposite of what Johnny said, or because it's what you think, or are those both things true
Those
at all
the-
times?
So right now, those things do align.
Okay.
I genuinely think it is probably Monty Python and the Holy Grail because, yeah, I mean, number one, I feel like more people would be writing about that film in that context because it very much is a shitpost film.
Aeroplane is also very
uh,
much famously a shitpost.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know Aeroplane, so I'm going
Okay.
based on the film I know.
Cool. It is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Well, hey.
Fuck
How-
you.
How's he already running away with this?
Okay, fine. Tim is on 6 points.
I've got them all right. Yeah.
Tim is on 6 points.
He's on 0 points.
I am on 4, and Johnny, you were on
7 points.
7. Okay.
What's
Johnny,
this man hoovering the road?
it's called a leaf blower, Tim.
Someone's got to do it. It's going to be us later with a hose.
Johnny, What is your next film?
My next review makes a compelling case against stan culture. Is this for Andrew Dominik's 2007 movie, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, or Christopher Nolan's 2013 movie, Oppenheimer?
2013?
2013.
2023. Or is it a Nolan movie where it just came out before he made it and wrote it?
The Murder of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford.
So, the review's once again, a compelling case against stan culture.
What the first one was Oppenheimer, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
this one's not Oppenheimer.
Or am I very aware of the scheme?
I also think it's Oppenheimer.
You think it's Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's not Oppenheimer, so I can go against.
How's he got another one? You can't keep getting away with it.
Have I got it right?
Yeah.
So have you even seen The Murder of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford?
No.
Okay.
It's Roger Deakins.
It's Roger Deakins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that Roger Deakins film. I
All of mine are
apologise, and I'll
Deakins
go whip
movies, by the
myself.
way.
Other than Oppenheimer.
I've
Yeah,
seen Oppenheimer.
It's
I've seen Oppenheimer.
mine are
Okay.
literally it's Oppenheimer or a Roger Deakins shot movie.
All right, fine.
I had to come up with these last night.
moving
You know, I was on fumes.
Moving swiftly, I look at him. He's so happy. I saw that little smile.
What's my score? Sorry, what's my score?
0, I believe.
Seven.
Seven.
It's 7.
7.
I'll ask the producers, but I'm pretty sure it's 0.
I think it's 7.
Moving swiftly on. This next review
We need to
is
cheat. Just tell me which one it is. And then we'll gaslight him to think it's the other one.
this next review is by Cast,
Cast.
and the review is The Monkey Thing Was Cool.
Okay.
Is this a review of 2001: A Space Odyssey
Right.
or Barbie?
Uh,
The monkey thing was cool.
yeah. So, have you seen 2001, Tim?
Yes, and there were monkeys,
Yeah.
and there weren't any monkeys in Barbie.
But the opening scene of Barbie is it is the monkey scene
yes.
from 2001.
You are right, and I do like that.
I'm going Barbie.
You're going Barbie.
Pure knee jerk because for context,
The monkey thing
they
was
both
cool.
open with the same thing, but instead of it being man inventing technology and weapons and shit like that, it was the Barbie being invented.
Mm-hmm. The Monkey Thing Was Cool. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm
or
saying Barbie. I'm saying Barbie.
I want to say Barbie, but I don't want to agree with Johnny.
Tim, you got to go with what you believe.
Yeah.
Forget what Johnny believes.
What he believes is that I'm wrong usually. So
I'm going to go with 2001: Space Odyssey.
Jesus Christ, Tim, you have 8 points.
Yes.
It was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm cancelling filming today.
What about me?
Like, yippee, I can go to bed.
Okay, Johnny, your last one.
I don't even know if I want to play this last round, you know.
Okay.
Right. So mine is the ending kind of reminds me of Monsters Inc. Is it Oppenheimer or is it Blade Runner 2049?
Right.
The ending of Monsters Inc. for context, it just leaves Sully being very sad and feeling lots of despair. So is this Oppenheimer feeling despair, or is this is this Kay feeling despair at the end?
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, again, the review is.
Tim, have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
I haven't seen all of it. I've seen clips from it.
I love how he
You've
said.
you've seen it in 10 installments on movieclips.com.
I've seen the Watch Mojo review, yeah.
Okay.
He says he watched Sicario because it was a Roger Deakins movie, and then I've listed 2 other Roger Deakins movies and he hasn't seen.
I've seen Blade Runner 2049 because I've seen Roger Deakins
You
breakdowns.
must have seen the train
Then you
robbery
haven't
scene.
then you haven't seen the film. You've seen bits of the film.
No, I've seen cinematography from
Have
the
you
film.
seen 1984? I'm just going to keep naming Roger Deakins films.
Have you seen the train robbery from Jesse James?
Stop asking me questions.
Have you seen?
He's having to turn around. This is really difficult for him. He
Yeah.
can't.
Hold on. Can we go this way?
That's a better turnaround spot. I'm gonna be
Well,
real.
we'll reverse back.
Yippee.
What, okay, hold on. Back
Anyway,
on,
yes.
back on topic.
Focus.
So we can
Yeah.
wrap it up.
The ending kind of reminds me of Monsters Inc.
And the options were
Oppenheimer or
Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner 2049. So
gonna-
it's some degree of despair either way.
I'm going to guess Blade Runner 2049.
I go Oppenheimer then.
Yes! He got it wrong!
Oh,
It was Blade Runner 2049.
Thank God for that.
Thank
Okay.
God.
Oh, that
fair
was.
enough. Well, I still got 8 points.
Tim's day is ruined.
But who's winning?
The producers have just called up, Tim.
Oh,
Yeah.
not again.
Not again.
Or I need to change my producers.
It's Ben.
Okay, awesome. Right. Final review of today.
Yeah.
The review is a movie with no emotional core, no character arcs or growth.
Don't.
No one learns anything.
Don't.
It's not saying anything.
Don't.
It shouldn't work, but somehow it's perfect. Is this a review of stepping into the no? Is this a review? Is this a review of Ghostbusters or The Big Lebowski?
I thought Tenet was coming out for this.
No.
I'm proud of you for that.
Okay, I already have
resisted.
an answer.
I resisted
Yeah.
that.
I'm going with the Big Lebowski.
I'm going Big Lebowski as well. I feel like this is a very much a review that someone who really likes the Big Lebowski was right.
It's a great movie.
It is a review of Ghostbusters.
Ah,
Well, at least Tim got it wrong.
yeah, but you didn't get any points.
It says consolation prize.
I can handle being wrong as long as Tim is also wrong.
And with that revelation from Johnny, we're going to wrap up
How were the
today.
scores? I don't believe I got a single point at mine.
No, you are still on 4. I am also on
Four's actually my lucky number,
I'm
so
on-
I wish to keep it this way.
5, and
Yeah.
Tim is on
Running away.
8.
And I've only played 2 rounds out of 3 rounds.
That is
But
true.
you
You've
can
had-
score in more games.
Okay,
You've
well,
more
I
rights.
guess then that my points are valid then because I've not played 1 round and I can score in both games.
So you need to be in every other episode.
Yeah, so it needs to be in every other
Continue to
episode,
work.
To make
and
it
then
fair.
that my points. So the producers have just called me back, and they've said that my points are valid.
You
so,
dare use my own spells against me, Potter.
Fair enough.
So yes, thank you and good night.